Welcome, everyone. This is Loose Lives and Warm-Ups. Um, I'd like to welcome Orla Stevens, who's joining me today. I'm a big fan of Orla. If you don't know Orla's work, Orla has a YouTube channel called Outdoor. Orla Stevens is your YouTube channel, right?
Yeah.
And you also have a newsletter and a Patreon with your collective called the Outdoor Sketchbook Collective.
Yeah.
And I'm thrilled to say that Orla is part of my membership here as well in my Substack community. So thank you, Orla, for being here. What we're going to do today is continue with our whole warm-up vibe. In the membership at the moment, we're working with the theme of food. So I thought it would be fun to invite Orla in to do some seafood-inspired work. So anyway, over to you, Orla.
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much for having me. It's so nice to be here. I've been looking forward to it all day. And I'm very much looking forward to drawing some seafood because I don't think I've really ever drawn seafood before. So this is what's been so good about doing Project 5 is exploring so much subject matter. My usual folio of work between art and illustration is all to do with nature and landscape. So this really ties lovely, very well into my usual scope. But yeah, what was I going to say? My go-to work is normally inspired by landscape and connecting to how places feel. And as Raj already said, I run an art community and membership called the Outdoor Sketchbook Collective, which is really just centered around creative play and connecting to nature through art. So lots of online workshops and resources to encourage other people to get more of that good stuff in our lives regularly.
Yeah. And one thing I wanted to just mention about your work, which really attracted me to it, is in terms of the playfulness. You've got a brilliant way of talking about how you work with mixed media, how you layer your materials. You've got a really tactile, analog feel to the work that you do. So I'm really interested in talking a little bit about how you bring that into your work when you're thinking about things that are more like figurative. Like, for example, now we're going to be doing, Lobster or whatever it might be. That's, although thematically it's quite nicely linked to your interests with environment, it is quite a kind of object rather than a big scene. So I'm really interested in how you think about things when you start to bring it back to more figurative and like narrative obvious shapes. That would be really great. And I'd love to know what you're going to use today.
Everything. I've prepared some pages with some textures because I've been doing a lot of that in the studio lately, and it's been making doing this observational work a lot easier because there's a starting point. I got acrylics, I got inks, I got oil pastels, do I have some soft pastels? I'm looking at my desk I think that's the majority, mostly acrylics and inks. Yeah.
Amazing. So you're in for a treat, everyone, because Orla is a master of mixed media. I'm going to have a bit of fun with some inks as well, because that's my happy place. But inspired by how you work, I'm going to try and work also with some oil pastels over the top. And I'm working with a brand at the moment, just to be on the materials flex. I've got this set of 60, super cheap. I mean, they were about 20, 25 euros for 60. They are like kids materials, really, but they're surprisingly impressive for the range of colors available. They're quite they've got some really nice muted natural colors in there as well as the bright ones, so I think that'll be fun. So I recommend those to anyone who wants to be like relaxed about materials but have fun. So let's flip over and get cracking. And this is going to be the awkward transition part for me.
But I know there's no elegant way to do this.
No. Okay.
There we go.
Yeah. And I just want to mention that I will be able to see comments on my laptop screen. So I'll try and get that up. If anybody does want to ask questions for Orla, you are welcome to. Okay, so I'll just I'll just, while I get that up, I'll just put this down because it gives you a bit of an impression of some of the bits I've been messing around with inky wise. So some brush marks, and I often use these sketch inks, so I'm going to have those to hand.
Beautiful.
And made by the same company. This is also another ink. So I've got these hanging about, and yeah, and then I've got my oil pastels. So let's see.
Amazing. I I forgot one of my materials today is this charcoal powder. I've been really enjoying using it like for warm-up sketches.
Oh wow,
In black and white. It's so much fun. Have you tried it before?
no,
Oh, it's I don't know if that's showing. It's just like a charcoal powder and you can add water to it or you can use it dry. Um and it's so nice. I did this one in the charcoal powder.
wow.
Um so it's just a nice way of being loose with it.
And are you using that with a brush?
I'm going to, yeah, I'm got like a water brush.
Nice. Um, is it similar to the art graph dry block? I imagine you may, if you know that one.
I don't know if I've used the art graph. Is that similar to the Inktense blocks?
Yeah, I think you could say it's similar. I think
The
it's
same.
a graphite. There's like a solid graphite which you can use with a brush, or yeah, a lot of people use it. It does create really beautiful textures. I'm sure you'll enjoy it, but it's one of those things that I've never quite managed to make work for me. So I've got a tin somewhere that I haven't I haven't managed to
To get
do
into.
much with. Yes, but I'm sure I will. So okay, so I've got my reference images up. If anybody else is part of the membership, you'll also see the reference images that we have. Um, they are seafood based. So there's a lobster, there's a trout, there's some fish on a plate. So I'm going to just start with this ink.
I'm starting it with what I think is the trout. The first fish. Yeah, the trout. Is it the trout? Yeah, they're both trout, right?
I
It's
think
in the
so.
reference images.
I was interested in having an option where it was just like a cutout on a white background and comparing that to drawing something that's like on a plate, because I think then you've got the option of a context versus no context. Sometimes it's quite helpful when you just want to isolate the shapes of something.
Especially with like warming up and getting into like how the shapes of the animal actually move and work.
Absolutely. So you have some really great exercises actually for how you warm up specifically on your channel as well. So how is there something that you can share with people today about how you would typically
Ooh,
Mhm.
I normally my warm up like mindset is to start with a mistake or just do something and then there's something like to problem solve your way through.
Ooh,
Um, that's been my kind of my mindset warm up if you like. Um,
ooh,
yeah.
I like that idea. So are you starting with a mistake today?
Yeah, I did. Well, I kind of like I started with this like big black splodge here and I think I put it in the wrong place. So I've just been trying to problem solve my way around fitting in the fish around it. Um yeah.
I love that idea of literally starting with a mistake. There's something really liberating about that, because especially if you're somebody who is always nervous with that first mark, if you're telling your brain that it's going to be a mistake anyway, then you can just crack on with it, can't you?
Yeah, like it really doesn't matter. And I think it just like it helps helps the thing like feel more handmade almost, like you can
Yeah.
tell the person's done it. Um, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that's definitely where we all need to be leaning towards the sort of
Yeah.
evidence of human touch.
Absolutely. And then I also think it just helps you to stay like liberated in your drawing in terms of like none of it actually matters. Like
Yeah,
you can just do another one. Um it like yeah, not to get precious.
absolutely. Have fun with it.
Yeah.
I think that's the whole kind of premise of these warm-ups as well, is I wanted to have that space where it, calling it a warm-up makes you feel a bit free because you don't have to, it doesn't have to really matter too much. But, I'm really interested in just exploring the shapes and um, taking that as a start point to create something.
Mm,
Really, it's just an excuse to get to know my materials better. So that's something which is so nice about warm-ups.
absolutely. That is one amazing lobster.
Well, I'm going to try and do some layering. I'm going to try and take your advice and make some mistakes. I love the marks on your trout already. Wow.
Thank you.
Do you find you can layer up the darkness of that color with the charcoal?
Yeah, but you have to kind of just keep on mixing more of the powder and then you can kind of let it dry and then add a bit more in. That kind of
Okay.
process.
Oh, I bought a new Pentel brush pen. I am obsessed with these. I try not to use the word obsessed too much because I don't feel I'm the right generation for that. Like everyone says obsessed all the time, right? But look at this color. Look at this color.
Let's see. Whoa,
It's like a
that's amazing.
lime, insanely bright lime. It's well, lime green, funnily enough. Um, but it's just so gorgeous. Um, so I'm going to chuck some of that on there as well.
Whoa, that's amazing.
I do find that these Pentel brush pens just give the best texture.
I don't think I've ever used them,
I
but
think
I think
the tips are quite similar to a lot of the water brushes that you can get. So if you've got a series of water brushes, they're not dissimilar. Um,
nice.
yeah, they're really nice.
I'm gonna try. Oh, should I try a different animal, or should I do my trout again? I'll maybe try the trout in colour this time.
And you also are really kind of good at moving through things and working quite quickly. So I'd love to hear more about, that in terms of your decision-making process. Like, how are you thinking as you're working?
Mm. Um, right now, my question for myself in the studio has been, how can I do this? How can I say as much as possible with as little as possible?
Mhm.
Um, so in terms of like marks, how can I represent, especially with this observational work that I'm trying to get into the swing of, like, how can I do it in as few marks as possible? Like, yeah, just how to simplify this and say, have all the energy there still. Because find that it's so easy to overwork with representational work.
Yes.
And obviously, like, most of the stuff that I have made up till now has been more abstract or semi abstract. So I'm really, really enjoying working in this kind of new way. Um, for what feels like the first time. Um,
Okay. Because I find that the thing that I find with abstraction, and one of the reasons why I really enjoy your videos, is because it feels like it can be so open that you almost don't know where to begin because it could be anything. And I find that with figurative work, you've kind of got the challenge of some measure of recognition of what the thing is that you're doing. And it's almost like it has the job to communicate something specific. Do you know what I mean? And like when it comes to sort of abstraction, because you're focusing quite a lot more on communicating the essence of a feeling. Um, it allows more space for openness and exploration. And I
Yeah.
always found that actually really hard to do.
I totally know what you mean. I think what I've been finding relaxing about doing this representational work is just the kind of like meditation kind of side of it, of just looking and capturing what you can see and not really needing to think too hard like beyond that. Like the main focus is
Mm.
just keep on looking, drawing, looking, drawing. I've been finding that really relaxing.
Yeah,
Um,
that's interesting. And so, do you feel that that feels different to the process that you have when you're working outside?
Not necessarily like if I'm working observationally outside, no, but if I'm trying to like abstract directly from life outside, yes, because I
Okay.
think it's more about a process of tuning into how you feel. And there's quite a lot of like, I guess, awareness that goes into that. Quite a lot of like emotional energy is spent really being present, being like exploring both yourself and where you are at the same time. There's quite a
Hmm.
lot that goes into it. Um, if I don't know if that made any sense, but
Yeah, yeah, totally. I think that there is definitely a element of not having to use too much analytical thinking when you're drawing from observation, which is why it's such a therapeutic practice, you know. And I think definitely when I look through my sketchbooks, I have a separate sketchbook which is just for um, not having to use my brain and just observing, and because that allows you to engage in like just a completely different feeling when you're like connecting to your materials or connecting to your page. You know, it's like a whole different purpose versus when we're working on a brief or a project where we're thinking about solving a visual problem. It's
mhm,
a really different headspace that we get into for that, I think.
absolutely.
Wonderful.
This fork has become my favorite painting tool this month.
Oh wow.
Yeah, a humble kitchen fork is so good. You can kind of use it like a palette knife, and you can scratch into it and make little stripes.
Oh, amazing. And are you what are you working with now with the fork? I'm just glancing at the screen to see.
This is mostly acrylic, and then the dark grey is some gouache.
Oh, nice. Oh, so you're working really across the whole page. Oh, I
Yeah.
love that. Look at those textures. Amazing. It's almost like you eventually see the form emerging in amongst all of that gorgeous texture. It's so lovely.
Thank you. Yeah, I think having the backgrounds as well helps to like be okay with having less maybe worked. The actual like the subject matter is less worked because
Yeah,
there's still things happening everywhere.
yeah,
That's it's been helping me in my head anyway of going, okay, you can just do like three things and call it done.
yeah.
And
I
that's
find backgrounds really challenging, so I tend to just default to a flat color. Um, so
totally. But even that with like some brush marks in there, like you've done with around yours, so nice.
yeah, it's just it feels like I think it's something really calming about that as well. Um, just to know that okay, I'm going to just focus on it as an object. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? Yeah. So I feel like this is really needing some contrast. So I may go in with some darker bits because it's starting to all just merge into one thing.
Yeah, I think I could do with some definition as well. What could we do?
Contrast is something you were talking about recently in one of your videos as well. I'm going to just keep talking about all the videos I've been watching lately.
That's so nice. Thank you. Oh,
I save them up usually, so like when everyone's asleep, I can just sit down and focus on them.
and yeah, I love binge watching YouTube videos as well.
Yeah.
Um, What was your question? Sorry.
Yeah, we were talking about contrast. So when you're thinking about contrast as a understanding how that can really um, help to shift what you're working on. Because I'm thinking about that specifically now as well, because I'm looking at what I've got in front of me and it's starting to feel a bit flat. So I'm thinking about how I can bring in a bit of depth, bit of
Mm-hmm.
definition. And I'm interested about how you think about contrast.
I've been thinking a lot about I've been thinking about it so much to be honest lately.
Yeah.
We've got a month of contrast on the Outdoor Sketchbook Collective later on. I can't remember which month it is now, but and yeah, contrast in everything. Like how can you make your textures more contrasted? How can you it's almost like a checklist. Like just going through all of the things which make paintings or illustrations interesting, like color. Have you got contrasting colors? Have you got contrasting textures? Are there contrasting scales of marks? Have you used different tools? Just kind of going through all of the different elements of creating a picture, of creating an image, and then,
Mm.
yeah, checking in with them.
And how do you deal with the whole challenge of? Um, I think one of the challenges of mixed media is that when you're playing with layering and textures and um, building the sort of a certain depth in work, there's a point where suddenly everything just feels like it's really just mushing into one thing, and that's something I find like happens a lot. It's like, okay, I'm trying to do this layering, I'm trying to do this textural thing, and I just have this like pool of mushiness that's come together. Um, it feels like your process when you're making work, you've kind of allow yourself to really just go nuts and play, but also somehow everything holds together. So, do you know what I mean? Like do you ever find that that's challenge? Or, like, how do you still
That
make
like
it kind of
messy
fun?
middle stage.
Yeah. How do you
Um,
get out of that?
ooh, that's a big question. Let me think. If it's to do with like mixed media, then oftentimes when I'm getting into that mushy stage, it's because I'm being impatient and not like listening to what the painting needs. Like I'm like wanting to get it
Ooh.
finished, or I'm wanting to like add the next layer before like the thing is dried, or before I actually like have stopped and looked properly.
Ooh.
So something I've been really trying to do because I'm a very fast worker and I'm a
Yes.
very like I just love to get stuck in there, do it really fast and then stop. But
Me
I'm
too.
trying to learn to be more patient in life in general. And yeah, I think that definitely helps with the messy middle stage, just like stopping.
I love
Um,
that idea of listening to what the painting needs. I think that is such a lovely way of talking about it. Um, Yeah, I mean, definitely don't think I do that. It's a really nice thought.
yeah. Um, I think it's like definitely to do with controlling what you're making. Like if
Yeah,
I feel like, oh, it's not like doing what I want in my head, then it's like, okay, well maybe it's not meant to be that. Maybe it's meant to be something else, and just kind of letting it tell you what it wants to be instead and going with that. That normally leads to better paintings than me
yeah,
forcing it into something it doesn't want.
amazing. So I'm going in with a little bit of blue because blue is always nice when there's orange around.
Ooh.
Yeah, I'm wondering whether now I might just stop there because I'm not listening to the painting right now. So, but this is really fun. I just lobsters are such an amazing shape, right?
They're incredible. They're so difficult, I think. That's why I didn't dive in with that. You're very brave.
Yeah, I thought I might just have the one image for the whole session. I'm just going to have a quick look at the comments. People are saying hello. Helen says hello, love the colors. Lenora says hello all. Nell Cummings, hello Nell, hello. She says hi Raj, hi Orla.
No.
So nice to see you all here. Thank you for being here. If you've just joined, Orla and I are looking at some seafood inspired imagery for our project this session. And Orla, if you don't know, is based in Scotland. I didn't forget that, Orla. My brain is really slow at the moment. I'm just
You're
really
all, you're all
um,
good.
and yeah, if you don't know Orla's work, then do check out Orla Stevens on YouTube because her work is amazing.
Thank you so
Okay,
much.
I think I'm going to try. I think I'm going to try the one on the plate now because that would be really hard for me. Do you think I need more contrast? So I'm going to take the idea of contrast as a bit more of a inspiration.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna. How long have we got, by the way? When are we going to?
Generally speaking, I'm kind of thinking like half an hour or so. But I think because we work so quickly, why don't we say let's just do two pieces? I'm going to start on a second one,
Nice. I'll do the same because this is too wet.
so we don't have to necessarily rush. And then, if that's okay with everyone, how long have we been online actually? Um, yeah, we're coming up to half an hour. I don't want to take too much time. Well, if you have got another 10 minutes or so, we could keep going. Is that good?
Perfect. Yeah, that sounds good. I want to try something else.
Yeah. So, thing with warm ups, it kind of feels like once you've done one, you want to do more. I'm
Yeah, you get
wondering,
rolling.
yeah, I'm wondering how. Hmm, okay. So, I'm going to pick up this ink. I almost want to call it my signature ink. It's so beautiful. It's a pen ink by Pilot. And if any of you guys have been following me for a while, you'll know I've mentioned this ink quite a lot. It is just very, very nice. Um, or maybe I will. No, maybe I won't do it on the plate because I'm feeling overwhelmed by the plate. I think I'm just going to choose one object again.
I can't decide.
I'm going to do the fish now because I think it'll be nice for both of our interpretations of the fish to be recorded.
Yeah. Did you do that first lobster in the group of images?
Pardon?
Did you do the first lobster?
Yeah,
Cool. Okay.
the one that's on the cutout, not
Yeah.
the one on the plate, because yeah, plates are too much information.
I will swap. Right. Let's get this go.
I was a little bit presumptuous when I picked some of these images because I thought it'd be nice to be inspired by your environment, and Scotland has such phenomenal waters and seafood. But are you into seafood? Do you eat seafood or?
I am I'm starting to learn to like fish.
Mhm.
And I don't think I've quite got into like shellfish yet.
Yeah,
Um, yeah, that's about. I'm like primarily like veggie based,
yeah,
but with some, I guess, pescatarian now. Um, yeah, I would love to because there's so many amazing fish restaurants, and
yeah,
like as long as it's sourced sustainably, like I think it's so much, yeah, on the
yeah.
doorstep. Like you say, like if it's local, then it's amazing.
Gosh, when I see images of trout like this, I think about those amazing paintings by the Dutch masters where you've got those unbelievable colours. I think I saw a painting of Van Gogh's in the Van Gogh Museum in Amsterdam of fish on a plate, and I stood in front of that thing for so long, so I couldn't quite believe how like, incredible the colours were in there.
Mm.
Um, yeah, it was something else. Okay, so I have a feeling there's a danger that I might end up just getting a bit too precious. So I'm going to get back to my favorite textures. There's something I love about this brush pen or brush pens in general, because that texture that you get from the bristles is just delicious.
That's so when it runs out, like it just
Oh,
in the middle of that line there. Oh my gosh,
best.
so good.
The Pentel brush pen, the one that's refillable with cartridges, is it has that amazing quality. And I had a recommendation by Marie Noel Worm. I don't know if you know her work,
No,
but
I don't.
she used to have a Skillshare class, which I watched a while back, just about how to work with this brush pen. And she had this genius idea of like, you get two, and as one runs out, you feel it, you have like one has a full cartridge and the other has one that's almost finished, so that you've always got the access to the textures of the brush that's kind of running out.
Nice.
And I just, since then, I was like, that's such a simple but genius idea. Um, and I've always done that since, actually. I rushed out to get a second one.
I'm starting to think that all the good things are simple.
Yeah.
Like, that's so cool.
Yeah, it's the pen that's at the bottom of the bag that you've forgotten about, which suddenly is the most amazing pen
Yeah,
you've ever used.
always the way. And on the topic of simple things, you put out a post the other day on what your favorite sketchbooks are.
Yeah.
What's your favorite at the moment?
Well, I have decided that I need to just simplify my life, and I am addicted to pith now. So I have pretty much every size of the pith sketchbook, and I also use the Pomelo, which is the it's a thinner paper. It's not quite the thickness of the sketchbook paper, and I love it because I'll just grab one of them. This one's finished. The paper is quite thin, and I feel quite carefree with it. And it's
Mm,
when it opens, it's a really nice open, flat kind of note paper. Um, but I guess one thing that I was kind of talking about specifically with that post was that there's sorry, I'm really slow today in my head. Um, trying to take away the barriers of actually making. So I was talking about how just having something small um, meant that I was drawing more. And
yeah.
the field notes, I mean, it's not about the field notes brand. It's really because it's really lovely. But when I have this book, I feel like I'm not conspicuous. I'm able to be inconspicuous. The fact that it just fits in my hand
Mm,
and I can just shove it in my back pocket and one pen just felt really, it calmed my brain, you know? So I was talking about that specifically, that the best sketchbook is the one that you actually use.
yeah.
And that can change, it can change, and it can be something which is, depending on the season or depending on your energy levels, it might be that you're in the space where you can carry around something that requires a bit more space.
Hmm.
Um, but this one is the reason I was really kind of coming back to this is I had gone through a phase of carrying my pith kara kara with me everywhere when we were going on family trips or even just out to the lake on the weekend or whatever. And I never ended up using it. And it just got to the point where like, why am I carrying this around? If I'm with my family, I know I'm too focused on what's going on with my family. And so I tend to not open up my sketchbook.
Yeah.
But with this, when I was with my family, or whether I was, in on my way to the doctors or whatever, I would actually just take it out because it didn't feel like it was getting in the way of anything, and nobody really looked at me.
No
So yeah, for
pressure.
me, it was just that realization of like, what's going to be the thing that you're actually going to use right now. Um, and that's what that post was about.
Beautiful. Yeah, I definitely relate to that. I've been using these little ones, just the little Talons art creations.
Yeah,
And usually I work massive, but yeah, like you say, like taking a big sketchbook around with you is just not practical.
yeah. And it can be. I mean, had the best intentions because I love using those sketchbooks, and I don't have any like nervousness around it. I don't feel precious about them, but I think I realized it was more an issue with the physicality of it, like the size of it in that moment. Like if
Hmm.
I'm with my kid and I just do a little scribble while he's eating ice cream, I can do that with the small one. But if I do that with my pith, he's, it distracts from what's going on around me. So
Yeah.
yeah, it's just a different, I guess people respond to it differently as well, you know?
Yeah, if it just looks like a little notebook.
Yeah, there's less curiosity around it.
It's so funny when people come up to you and they're like, "What are you doing?" Um,
You must
goes
get that a lot.
Yeah, well, I'm quite good at going to places where there's nobody, so that makes it easier. But I've been trying to be a bit more brave and go into more public spaces recently. Um, yeah.
And what sort of, spaces where there's more people around?
Yeah, I did some I've been painting quite a lot of castles recently, which has been fun. Yeah, honestly, since joining this Project 5, I've been exploring so many new I feel like it's emboldened me to try new subject matter.
Oh, I'm
Uh,
so thrilled about that, Orla. That's
yeah.
really motivating. Thank you.
No, you're welcome. It's honestly it's been the thing I needed to unlock, allowing myself to do new things. Yeah, so when I was out sketching castles, I've met lots of people doing that, and you definitely get very mixed responses, which is quite funny.
Yeah,
Um, yeah, but you just got to. If I'm honest, oftentimes I just try and ignore people unless I get the vibe that they're going to be like chill and engaging.
yeah.
Like not judgmental.
Well, there's lots of castles in Germany.
Yes, I've got so much exploring to do.
Yeah. In fact, we don't live too far from the big famous Neuschwanstein Castle, which is the one which is apparently what the Disney castle is based on. I couldn't actually believe it when my husband first showed me a picture of it. So, oh yeah, I go snowboarding around there. I'm like, you
What?
what?
That's
And I was
real.
like, okay, maybe I will move to Germany. I can be convinced.
I can do this. I know.
Yeah, that was a moment. Hello, Gleeful Dabbler. That's nice. Thank you so much. Gleeful Dabbler is saying, nice to see you again. These are gorgeous pictures. Oh, I love what you're doing, Orla. Look at that pink.
There's hot pinks everywhere.
Oh my God, it's so good.
It's this golden fluorescent thing, and it's so much fun.
Yeah. Are you using any of that in any of the work that you're selling?
The fluorescent, yeah,
Yeah.
it's pretty much in everything I'm creating right now.
Nice.
Yeah.
It's an addictive color.
Oh, totally. I'm thoroughly addicted.
I think there could just be a whole session around pink. And pink and indigo as a combination is just a dream, isn't it?
Oh my gosh. Yeah, yeah. I will definitely be there if you do a pink themed session.
Okay, I'll make it happen. Maybe we could do it together or something. That could be fun.
Yeah.
We could think about that because I'm obsessed with indigo and pink as well. And I've seen it crop up in the work that you're doing. Um, the contrast that you get with those two colors is just magic.
Oh, yeah. They just bounce off each other really nice.
So I just wanted to I'll put this a bit closer because I wanted to make a point about the cheap Jackson pastels. While you can see, and then maybe that'd be interesting for other people. This is the set that I have a lot of fun with because they're really inexpensive and the colors are actually really quite, you know, decent. They're not all garish. You've got those pop primaries, but there's a lovely olive. There's a whole range of yellows. There's some really nice muted colors in there as well, very earthy. So it's surprisingly good fun and value. So if anybody's interested in exploring oil pastels for the first time, but you don't want to spend a lot of money, I do recommend this. The fact that they're so cheap though will, you know, it's a great entry point, but you can see here that there are these very kind of bits that roll off. So it's not creamy like a lot of the expensive ones are, but it doesn't matter. It's a really fun place to start. But I will say that that's probably what I notice about these, if anybody's curious. It's a great gateway pastel, I think. I have purchased a few Caran d'Ache Neo pastels as singles, and they are unbelievably gorgeous. So I step away from the Jackson's order, and I'm not buying any more because they're too nice. I'm going to just stick to my cheap things that I've got right now to have fun with, and then I'll go back.
Yeah, totally. Like once you've got into the swing of using them.
So how are you getting on, Orla?
Good. I've got a very jazzy lobster going on. I think I did it a bit big for the oops, knocking the camera over. Did it a little bit big for the size of the page, but that's all right. He's a little bit cramped, but
Yeah,
yeah.
but
Trying to
the
decide.
textures are incredible. Would it be possible to bring it a little bit closer? I'd love
Yeah.
to see. Oh my goodness, just look at that. Love it.
Thank you.
Love
My
it.
my trick for texture for like these are this is my favorite brush ever. And it's I think I nicked it either at my granddad's garage or my dad's garage, I'm not sure, but it's just like a painting brush with
Mm,
natural bristles. Um and I'm rubbish at cleaning my brushes, which just makes for excellent texture.
excellent texture.
So yeah, cheap
Full of
brushes.
PVA glue and
Yeah, all the rest of it. They're all like different lengths and breaking off,
yeah,
but it works.
amazing. Well, I've kind of come to the end of two. So there's my lobster.
Oh my god.
Um, for now. I think I'm going to have to draw a lot more lobsters because they are just excellent shapes that come together in a lobster, and the colors are amazing. So I'm going to be doing more of that. And here's my trout.
That is stunning.
Thank you.
That's
Thank you,
so nice.
Pauline. Um, Pauline saying wonderful lobsters. Um,
Indeed.
yeah,
And that's
so there
mine.
we go. So I'm going to just, because we've done 40 minutes now, I'm just going to flip back to camera mode, if that's okay.
Of course. It
Oh, that was so much fun.
was so good. How are your hands?
Yeah, pretty good.
Pretty good. Nice.
How I like my hands to be. I don't bother with manicures because they'll just get ink all over them.
Absolutely. Complete waste of time.
So I'm just going to see in the comments if anyone's got any questions. Lots of really lovely hellos, beautiful work. Thank you so much. So yeah, just to wrap up, if you're new to Orla's work, please go and check out her YouTube channel. Just type in Orla Stevens gorgeousness. And Orla is part of my membership here. We're working through 5 projects together. I know we are halfway through the year, so my project 5 is we're into the 3rd project. But if you're interested in joining our community and thinking about the themes that I've set up, then you're welcome to join anytime. You can also work on the projects which we've already kind of worked through, but you're welcome to work through them again. I know that some people in the community are continuing the projects that we've done for the portrait work. And I think that, yeah, the whole idea of this is, it's a space to work with other creative people that serves your own practice. So I don't want to kind of worry anyone that thinks like, oh, you've done that one, it's not available. It's all accessible. I'm still working through my portrait work as well, but we're doing food, and it's just really nice to mix things up because I do get bored quite quickly. So I'm actually still jumping in between the ones we've done.
Yeah,
Um,
me too.
yeah. And so we do studio sessions every 2 weeks as part of the membership as well, where you can just come in and work on the projects. We can talk about our projects. We can share if we want to, troubleshoot if we want to. So that's something we're just starting with this theme, actually. We didn't do it with the first two. So it is a evolving, exploratory um, space, and I'm really enjoying it. So thank you so much, Orla.
Thank you for having me. It's been
Is there
lovely.
anything else you want to talk about? Do you have work that you're releasing for sale, or is there anything else you want to share?
I am working on a new series of work right now and a bunch of videos that'll be going out soon. I've been painting lots of wildflowers, as I've been talking about lots of new subject matter in this video. So my next collection of work, I haven't got a date that's for it, but it'll be some point in the summer. You can go on my website, go on the newsletter to find out when. But yeah, it's lots of exciting work, lots of getting outside into the landscape, working from life. So
Amazing. Look forward to it.
thank you.
Thank you, everyone who's joined us today. And I'm going live with Helen Stark in the morning, so stick around for that. 10 a.m. UK time, or is it 9 a.m.? It's summer solstice tomorrow, so in the Northern Hemisphere, yeah. So we're celebrating with Helen. So I hope that you all join us and have a great weekend. Thank you, Orla, again.
No, thank you for having me. Thanks everyone for
Pleasure.
watching.
Bye.